It's known by now that you can get a full music lesson just by playing a Mario Kart course, but Rainbow Road in the new Mario Kart World has to be my favorite Rainbow Road version, beating Mario Kart Wii. The only reason it's still in competition is because that one has a Mario Galaxy reference and this one doesn't. So let's go into it. I want to put a big focus on the melody here. The harmony is great as well, but this is how you write a melody. So you'll hear this motif throughout the entire course. Sometimes with different harmony. So after the main motif, we have this climb back down to D. The song is in D major. And it sounds like a very straightforward sentence, but there was a lot going on there. And so you almost feel like that would be a very awkward place to end it. And then you have our motif again. But then this time we go up to this B and hold it here with this A minor, which is a 5 minor and 5 minor add 9. And it gives this very sweet but suspenseful chord. And this definitely wants to go somewhere. And it also resolves nicely into the next chord, which is major, which sounds home, but we still have this B here. So what are we going to do with this B? And we're still like not really landing where we feel like we should be. So this B is over an A minor, and then this B is over a D. And we finally go to A, which would have worked with A minor and D, but our chords switch up to G to still kind of make it feel like it's not really finding home base yet. Then we have this beautiful climb down. And we're still not resolved, but now we feel a little bit more comfortable in this E chord. We have the classic 2 minor, 1 over 3, 4, and then 5. But instead of just building up, we have this melody climbing down. And you remember that melody from the first phrase that goes. And I was telling you how it really doesn't feel like we're going to end there. But this time, after the build-up, that feels a way more well-deserved ending, especially when we hit that low bass and we're not going anywhere else until it gets to the next section. I love the violin harmony here. So it's not too complicated of a melody. We have this, and then we're at home bass. that almost sounds like a 4 minor, right? But if we're following where we were in D, it should be a 6 flat minor. But anyways. So this is a new motif we've introduced. And it'll even play a major later on. Then we have this minor, minor again, but then when we hit this E minor, which is a 2 minor, so it was sounding really repetitive, but as soon as it hits that E minor, the melody changes from a minor to a major. And then after a drum solo, it goes into a synth solo that is really awesome, but I'm not going to be breaking that down here. I feel like I should probably learn it on the piano before I talk about it. So on to the next section, our motif comes back, but this time with a very soft 4 chord, which is G. So, very beautiful, very different. Allowing us to breathe, because the last section was super chaotic, super fun. This is a big breather, which is interesting in a Mario Kart game, but if you know the track, it makes sense. You go off of the Rainbow Road into, spoiler alert, into this beautiful river that's like glittery, and it's a lot slower pace. There's not as many curves and turns, and it just allows you to take your breath before the next section. Listen to this harmony. And then, did you hear that in the background? Same motif, way different harmony. So this is when it really ramps up before you take off into space and land on the space station, which starts this, and we go back to our main motif, but listen to what the melody does. Okay, I messed it up there, but so it's more in F minor. Sorry, that's the first time I played this. This isn't really my favorite part just because they take away all the orchestral instruments and stuff. I do like that melody. It sounds very nostalgic, especially maybe with the retro synth sounds. So then it goes through a section that plays the main Mario Kart theme. Mario Kart World theme. Okay, so that builds tension into the final section, which is super climatic and uses a lot of the things we already went through. So we have our main motif, but then we also had the main motif, but with a 4. So they're going to mix all of the things that we already did into this climax. So almost exactly the same as the beginning, but in F, with a drum and bass pattern that kind of reminds me of the Toad Harbor theme, which is also an awesome theme. While the first section definitely sounds more like you're trying to find your footing and trying to figure out exactly where to go, this one sounds like you know where to go and you're on the final stretch, which, again, fits perfectly with the game. Okay, so right there, we have the... So you remember that from the taking a breath section with the river and stuff. But this time, if you listen closely... Do you remember that melody? That changes to minor on the other one. But this time it's an F. And then we have and I feel like this part is referencing the if you remember from the river section that goes. I think it's very softly referencing it. Let me play it again and see if you see what I mean. Maybe slightly. So this whole track tells a story, and if you can't feel that, you're not listening hard enough. Starting with the... and then moving to the... Like, do you hear the, like, it sounds like we're starting an adventure, right? And that right there, it asks the question of, you know, almost like, are we going to make it? And then this almost sounds like almost a soft answer of, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out as we go along the way. And then the next section almost sounds like maybe hitting dangers along the way. And then we build up to that soft part that's like, which again is like almost like a resting point halfway. So it sounds like we're taking a breath, we're resting, and then building up to the next part, which is almost wonder, which is the and then goes into the main theme, which is almost like a reminder of how far you've come, you know? And then the climax would be the part of the story where everything comes together, and even there's more instruments than there was in any of the other sections. And the synth solo comes back from the first part, so it's almost like the main character or one of the main characters returning. It brings everything together. I think it wouldn't be as memorable if you don't hear the same motif, but in a way more climatic way with the brass and the violins as loud as ever. Yeah, you know this is like the end of a journey, and it fits perfectly every time you race, unless you're getting hit by millions of red shells and then a final blue shell. It feels like the climax of a long adventure. And then it loops back. The third section loops over and over again, so they don't have a recorded ending available, which maybe when they release it on the Nintendo Music app, they'll show the ending of the song, but I highly doubt it because they didn't do that with anything else. What is the point of that thing? I hope you were able to kind of see what makes this melody so great and so memorable, with the repeating intervals and the repeating different harmonies, and it really establishes the theme so that you go away humming the theme, especially since in the results screen it also plays a custom song that's also referencing. And then right after that in the Grand Prix it plays the credits, and again it ends the credits theme with which I actually want to show you because it has different harmony. And then ends the credits theme like that. So yeah, and B, and that's like one of my worst keys, so I was having a little bit of trouble there. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed. I hope you can see why I love this theme so much, and maybe if you have Mario Kart World, just go back and play and notice the music and notice the story it's telling. Notice how well it syncs up with the different sections. That's good music design and coding and game design. Before you go, put down in the comments, what is your favorite Rainbow Road? Is it Mario Kart World? And if not, why? You better have a good explanation. Thanks for dropping by.